A giant lizard skitters up to you and stops. You look up, and upon it sits the dark elf, Kazif. This is exactly the message that I got from Kazif from the Vile Guild. It caught me off guard at first, but I did what anybody would do. I played along. As I sat there trying to figure out the perfect response to say in a role-playing fashion, I found myself intrigued. I had a lot of fun, and yeah, it was great. I immediately casted Magic Reflect, I said Injunct Sanct, and I said that I gripped my spellbook and my crook tightly and nervously, awaiting to see what was about to happen. And at that point, I knew that I was in for a lot of fun. After we got to talking for a while, he told me of the Urks, the Jorgers, the vampires, the brigands, the knights, the blood cults, all the different role-playing guilds. I know I left some out, and how there was a different story for each one of them. Once again, I was even more intrigued, and he invited me to come see a different take of things on the Outlands community. He asked if I wanted to come to the Slaughter Moon over the weekend with the Urks, as they were going to start coming around with them on Saturday. He invited me to come to a summoning and a black mass, and I did just that. As you guys already know, I stream every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Well, this Black Mass just so happened to take place on Tuesday evening, and to avoid any kind of weird trolling or anything like that, at least for the first round, I did not stream that night and instead just went old-fashioned. Recorded it, and now we're going to turn it into a nice little video, and that's what this one is here. As I rode my nightmare to the meeting place, I had a lot of questions in my head. Were they going to accept me into their group? Were they going to welcome my different role-playing tryings, I guess to call it, for lack of a better term? And I was actually really surprised. As I sat there and waited for them to come pick me up, they came and they greeted me with dark greetings. Tried to figure out what exactly to say, and I just said something back. They eagerly invited me back to their Alliance Hall to await the priestess, and as we were running there, I actually noticed something that was rather interesting. It wasn't all uptight and weird and whatever. Everything just seemed to flow. They made jokes together as we just kind of ran down there. One turned into a spider, and I acted like it scared me. Once we got to the Alliance Hall, I was told to have a seat. I sat there once again wondering when was the Vassword Flam gonna come. It never came. In fact, it was funny, at one point he told his lizard, as they call it, to stay. He didn't stay, and then they made jokes at him about not being able to control his lizard, and maybe the lizard was the one who controlled him. Once again, just joke after joke with each other, and it wasn't as uncomfortable or hard to fit in or come up with the right things to say as I initially thought it was going to be. As we sat there and joked around and had ale and ate some food, a voice of Airtu appeared. This voice told me to follow them, and not only did I follow them, but the others followed as well. We went right back through the cavern into the sanctuary, what looked to be some form of church ceremony with tons and tons of candles everywhere, blood, and different things of that sort. As I sat there, more people gathered, and the voice of Airtu spoke. From within my power we shall summon our demon lord, and share in his dark wards. And sure as shit, they did just that. They summoned a big purple demon. A guttural, unnaturally deep voice emits from the drow. Darkness be upon you, those that have summoned me. It was scary, to say the least. There was Airtu, Balor of Loth, Lord of all demons. Bow before me in reverence, he said. Suddenly they all got up and started bowing, as if they worshipped him. What do you think? Do you think Pwnstar bowed? Do you think the mighty Pwnstar Daemon bowed to the might of Airtu? Post in the comments below, let me know, and like this video. After the Airtu had finished saying different things about how powerful he was and gave us instructions to do unto the Avedonians, him and the voice of Airtu became one. And with that, we were presented different dark wards, aka blessings, from a 120 inscriptionist. As we went there one by one, eventually when it became my turn, I realized it was very, very powerful. I wanted to leave right then and go farm and see just how much gold I could get per hour with the blessing of that power. And just when I thought the night was over, when we headed back to the outpost, I was greeted with, "Where's the ale?" So we drunk and hung out, and then Shade. The night isn't finished with you yet. Your presence is requested at the Great Cathedral. After we got to the cathedral, the first thing I noticed in the distance was a ghoul who properly greeted me with once again dark greetings. We proceeded on down the way, but let's not forget the strong ale. It was very strong indeed. I was instructed exactly where to sit and told to listen to the words of Our Lady. As she started to speak, I noticed that she wasn't dead nor living, and in the back further behind her was a chalice with some kind of liquid that looked very, very intoxicating. I really, really wanted to drink it. Immediately at the beginning of the sermon, I was greeted and told that I was welcome here, and they were glad that they even invited me to come. It was really a nice gesture, to be perfectly honest with you. They said that I would probably learn a thing or two, and I was actually very excited to learn more about the void that the drow seems to worship and ponder about and try to learn more and more mysterious things about. They went on about what I believe to be some form of creation story of how the world came to be, and then suddenly, as if out of nowhere, a big giant void ball, as I can't seem to describe it as anything else other than that, came out of nowhere. With that, tons and tons of spirits of the void that seemingly came from nowhere and just felt compelled to walk straight into the void gate, which something you and me might look at as a black hole if we were to look into the stars. Eventually, I was asked to come up and join the ghoul who was giving the sermon. I was taken a little by surprise, but I was nudged up there and really didn't have a choice in front of all these people. They asked what my name was, and obviously I said Pone Star. Then immediately I was asked why I was even there. Well, to share visions and spread the word of what is happening, and also to learn the history of your people. They responded with, "All should know of the void and the comfort that it brings." I mean, the void seems very, very powerful and clear of emotion. "Tell me, Pone Star, what hast thou learned today?" the ghoul asked. "There is more power than there seems to be. This is a powerful place with forces quite unknown to me. Dost thou wish to know more?" she asked me, and obviously I agreed. She asked if I wouldst thou perhaps like a taste of oblivion. Hold on, wait, did she just say a taste of oblivion? This is when I remembered that chalice that was over in the corner that really intrigued us earlier. This is when I was told exactly what I thought. I was come to stand by the chalice, look inside, and asked what exactly I saw. My response was darkness, but really what I saw was nothing. And not in the sense of nothing as if the cup was empty, but I literally saw nothing. A void. As if an empty rabbit hole, as I went on to further explain myself. Then the ghoul cackled like an old witch and a tooth fell out. Did everything I could not to laugh, as the alcohol from earlier was still in my veins. Once again, I was asked if I would like to know this darkness better, and I agreed. I was really hoping I was about to drink from the cup. And sure enough, that's exactly what I was told to do. As you can see, there's these little red sparkles. Now, I don't know what those were, or what the random mantras, or even the void that just randomly showed up, but it was really cool to see the different abilities that the Vile Guild had as they were performing this black mass, as they call it. After drinking it, I immediately felt more powerful and refreshed, similar to the blessing I had earlier, but way more powerful. I felt a little bit different on the inside, and my morals and ethics and everything, but I wanted more. I came up the stairs and everybody circled around me, and I was curious what was going to happen next. There's comfort where you shall go, I promise thee. I should have known right then what was about to happen. All of a sudden, a thing was coming from the cracks of the ground. I was casted in flame and fire, and bolts hit me. It was like I was being purged or cleansed or chastised. As I sat there staring into black darkness, I started to think back into that chalice. The chalice that I had described as an empty rabbit's hole. And I realized for that brief moment where I peered into nothing, into the void, that I was in the void. I was one with the void. I had become the void itself, in a sense. When I awakened, the first words I heard from that ghoul's mouth were, "He is not ready. He is not ready." Now, what could "he is not ready" mean? The one thing that I can definitely feel that it is that there is other roleplay groups out there. Now, we all know about the Slaughter Moon that happens on Saturday night and a couple other really, really cool events. And I would like to ask you, the community, is there other role-playing events that I could attend and do a video very similar to this? If you guys watch this all the way through, make sure you hit that like button, as it does help out the YouTube algorithm. Thank you to the Patreons, the channel members, and everyone else out there. I truly would like to do more videos as this one, as I've had a lot of fun filming it. Golden Bear, my good friend Golden Bear, who was at the Colorado Renaissance Fair with me just last weekend, actually sent me a care package of some zombie dust beer. I have been looking forward to drinking this one, so this is going to be the beer of the day. And as I'm pouring this, make sure you guys join the Pwn Star Gaming Discord, and let's talk about some other role-playing groups that are here on Ultima Online Outlands. And with that, my friends, zombie dust, let's go. Damn, that's tasty. I like that. Guys, I'll see you next week. Pwn Star Gaming out.